Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Put a one in the chat if you can hear the sound of my voice. We are reporting live here on for the sentencing of Kenneth Perry, who was convicted of double homicide in a 1990 murder and rape of a brother and sister. Stand by. The judge is about to sentence Kenneth Perry for the crime he was convicted of. Stand by. Okay, I don't need that. We don't need that music. We just don't need it. We don't need it. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. Just stand by. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, Kenneth Perry uh, is about to be sentenced. The judge said 15 minutes, but it seems like it's going to be a little longer. The state wants the judge to throw the book at him, and his attorney wants leniency. This is a double homicide. He'll never see a day on the streets again. He had a long run since the 90s. He's been on the run over 35 years. He's been on the run for over 35 years. And there is no statute of limitation on murder and double homicide. So I ask, what has he been doing for 35 years? After killing two people, what has he been doing for all that time? You just don't go killing two people and living a normal life. He took it to trial. He didn't surrender. He didn't turn himself in. He had to be caught. And the heinous acts that were committed against these two innocent people, now he wants leniency. We're talking about two of Georgia's 7 deadly sins. Two of Georgia's 7 deadly sins. And that's murder and grape. And I'm guessing the judge is going to say, you didn't show mercy to these two innocent people. So why should she show mercy now? We'll see what the judge decides, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see what the judge decides. But this is clearly a case of throw the book at him. The DNA obviously convicted him. How he tries to spin it 35 years later. I mean, the jurors saw through this. They saw what was there and they saw what wasn't there. And they reached their verdict. So let's see what the judge decides. Stand by. Okay, we have some activity in the court, so I believe it's about to start. It's
Upon a review of the cases, the court finds that under Price versus State, Georgia Supreme Court case that was decided April 19, 2022, the court does find that that is controlling. So, looking at the official code of Georgia annotated under sections 17-10-1 and 17-10 through 17-10-21, the court can look at aggravating factors for sentencing, which include the nature of the crime, the defendant's prior criminal history, and other factors that should result in harsher punishment. In terms of looking at the nature of the crime, such as a vile, horrible, and inhumane offense, crimes involving torture, depravity of mind, or aggravated battery can be considered aggravating. The court can also look at the amount of harm to the victim. In this case, Mr. Perry, the jury found you guilty on all 14 counts. In terms of the amount of harm to the victim, you stabbed, strangled, and tried to smother Pamela Sumter. You raped her, and the testimony was that her injuries were so severe that it was consistent with the trauma of a woman giving birth. Looking at factors such as multiple victims, if the crime resulted in the death or serious injury of multiples, in this case, the jury found that you caused the death of both John and Pamela Sumter in a brutal and malicious manner. Also, the court considered the use of a deadly weapon. In this particular case, if a deadly weapon was used in the commission of a crime, this can also be an aggravating factor, such as a knife when used offensively, pillow, which when used offensively, and hands and arms when used offensively can be used as deadly weapons. The court can also consider your prior criminal history. There was testimony that was presented in terms of numerous family violence convictions along with battery convictions. Other factors that the court can consider is a lack of remorse. A lack of remorse or an unrepentant attitude can be considered as an aggravating factor. Mr. Perry, you testified today that you have never hurt anyone, which is inconsistent with the jury's verdict. So as such, in the matter of the state of Kenneth Perry, under indictment number 24 CR 2608, the court will sentence you as to count one, malice murder. I will sentence you to life. To count two, malice murder. I will sentence you to life to run consecutive to count one. As to count three, felony murder, that is vacated by operation of law. As to count four, felony murder, that is vacated by operation of law. As to count five, rape, I will sentence you to life to run consecutive to count two. As to count six, aggravated assault, it will merge with counts 1 and 2. As to count 7, aggravated assault, it will merge into counts 1 and 2. Count 8, aggravated assault, I will sentence you to 20 years to serve in custody to run consecutive to count 5. Count number 9, aggravated assault, I will sentence you to 20 years to run consecutive to count number 8. As to count number 10, aggravated battery, I will sentence you to 20 years to serve to run consecutive to count 9. Count 11, aggravated battery, I will sentence you to 20 years to run consecutive to count sentence you to 5 years to run consecutive to the other counts. As to count 14, theft by taking, I will sentence you 10 years to run consecutive to count 11, which I believe that is a total of 3 life sentences to run consecutive to each other plus 100 years. Mr. Perry, you have the right to seek post-judgment relief for your conviction of the crimes of malice murder, felony murder, rape, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, possession of a knife during the commission of a felony, and theft by taking. You can do this by either making a motion for a new trial in this court and/or filing an appeal to a higher appellate court. If you want to file a motion for a new trial or an appeal, then you will need to file that said motion or notice of appeal with the clerk of Superior Court of this county, DeKalb County, within 30 days. You may want to more fully discuss this with your attorney, Mr. Queen. If a motion for a new trial is made and the court denies it, you will have 30 days from the filing of the order of this denial, in which to file with the clerk of court your notice of appeal. You have the right to have an attorney represent you on the motion for new trial in the first level of direct appellate review, and if you cannot afford to hire an attorney, the court will provide you an attorney and a transcript of the trial at no cost. So with the felonies that you have been convicted of, in a felony, usually you have a period of 4 years from the date of your sentence, which is today's date, March 18, 2025, in this court, when it becomes final to file a habeas corpus petition. Mr. Perry, do you have any questions for me? Okay, thank you. Mr. Queen, anything you would like to place on the record?
No, Judge.
And does the state have anything that you would like to place on the record?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So we're in recess. Thank you. Unhearing or, I don't know.
We have the DOC has the.
Okay.
He has 3 life sentences. 3. That means he would have to die and come back and do another, die 3 times, come back and do another 100 years before he can see freedom, which will never happen. The judge will likely not grant a new trial, and it will proceed to appeal, which probably will not fare well for him because the evidence was substantial against him. The evidence was substantial against him. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the result of his behavior. And it's my condolences go out to the families of those 2 individuals that were murdered savagely. And then he raped the sister. This is not allegedly. This case ended in an adjudication of guilt by the jurors. He had a long run since 1990, 35 years. He was on the run. 35 years. And if he didn't get caught, I'm sure he would try to ride it out. So you don't get away with murder. You might have to pay here, or you may have to pay on the other side, but you don't get away with murder. That's 3 life sentences, and this occurred in DeKalb County, Georgia. I mean, what can I say? What can I say, ladies and gentlemen? What I will say is yesterday, we had a opportunity to look at some of the interviews that were done as it relates to the passing of Angie Stone, and we will be dropping more interviews today and more details. So I want you guys to make sure you are following, not just looking, following our YouTube channel on both at Hip Hop Inquirer and at Mr. Dennis Byron, and make sure your notifications are on. So make sure you subscribe. It doesn't take much to subscribe. It doesn't take much to hit the like button, but make sure you do both. Make sure you do both. And I did receive some interesting emails and messages as it relates to our coverage on that story, but we haven't had the time to respond, but we will in due time. But as far as Mr. Kenneth Perry, you're up the river without a paddle. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining. This was a brief live because this case was very important. And now justice will be served. Now justice will be served. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you on the next live. Make sure you're locked in. Make sure your notifications are on because we will be back with another story in about 2 hours. Until then, we'll see you.